Okay.
How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of
The Son of Frankenstein.
This one is probably just as bad as his father.
Good morning, son.
Well, hello!
My son, you have inherited the fortune of the Frankensteins. I trust you will not inherit their fate.
By heaven, I think you're a worse fiend than your father. What are you gonna do about it? There's a monster afoot and you know it.
Well, we warned you.
Like the man said. What did he say? You've been warned.
That's what he said. That's what the man
welcome
said. He
back
said that.
He did. I heard him. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, which is, you know what that is? That's a podcast where the hosts, they're very charming fellows, and what they do is they dissect the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute.
Oh, what a neat idea.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's not as good as it sounds.
Okay. I haven't realized their potential. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, yeah. It's kind of mainly the execution.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the information itself is just garbage.
Yeah. I'm Bill Evenson.
And I'm Tom Lang, and you join us for minute 47 of 1939's Son of Frankenstein.
Yep. Welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the moment we've all been waiting for. Boris Karloff actually gets to do something in this minute.
Well, but first, Bela Lugosi gets to do something.
Gets a nice little comic bit that he gets to do.
It's a little comic bit.
Yeah.
Stop.
He's concerned about his friend.
Yeah.
So he grabs the monster's hand with his left hand, and apparently there's just so much juice flowing through that monster that it gives old Igor a little jolt.
Well,
which makes me wonder, because it doesn't really seem to affect him that much. So that's how Igor came back to life. The lightning was his mother too.
Oh, I see. So you're saying, okay.
After he was hung and thrown in there.
Since he doesn't die or pass out.
Or any ill effects, whatever, it sems.
Also, the fact that he's able to let go is convenient too. Because I guess you're not always
not always. Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah. My main thing about it is suddenly Igor's an idiot. We've been talking about how clever he is for months, and then all of a sudden he's just a dope. But that's all right.
That's fine.
Everybody's a dummy.
Everybody gets to be a dope once in a while.
The movie's full of dummies. Except for, let's see, Krog I suppose, is not a dummy.
Not a dummy.
Let's look for that. I bet there's a point in the movie where I'll say, God, what a dope.
Maybe.
I think he does something dumb later, but I don't know.
Maybe, because he seems like he does
some stuff where you can't figure out why he would do it.
I think Krog knows what's going on before Roland V. Lee knows what's going on.
That's true. The thing I noticed is when Lugosi does that, he grabs the hand and he's stuck to him with electricity briefly. Rathbone looks away. He looks down at his equipment. And I feel like it's him going... He's like, you can't. He's gonna laugh. Yeah.
God.
Oh, this fucking guy. Yeah.
And that's the minute.
That's it. And then the minute ends. And follow us on Instagram. Jesus Christ. Belong Dead Studios North is coming down.
Apart right before our very eyes. There we go.
Yeah.
No, I stepped on the cord, I believe.
Oh, did you? Okay. So
you've been warned.
Igor learns his lesson as a result of this experience. There's clearly a bunch of electricity being shot through the monster, which he had no idea this was going to happen.
Had no clue.
How could anybody see that coming?
Yeah.
So he's in great distress, and he grabs a hold of Rathbone, grabs a hold of Wolf, and says, "Stop!"
Spins him away from his console.
And what's great about it is the gear that Rathbone's in front of topples slightly.
Yeah, it wiggles a little bit.
It's like it's gonna. I believe it's really in danger of falling over at that point. And Wolf's like, "Quiet, you fool!"
He utters classical retort from the average mad scientist. "Quiet, you fool!"
Is that a classic?
Oh yeah, doesn't Henry at the beginning of Frankenstein? Fritz hasn't said anything.
Down.
Oh, it's down. That's right.
Down.
Despite the fact that Henry's standing up taller than he is and waits longer to back down.
By the way, I should say I did take a COVID test, so it's not COVID.
Oh, okay.
But I was just thinking, my voice I can tell is slightly still gravelly from this cold that I've been. It's almost gone. But I can do the Colin Clive a little better. It seems like in my head it sounds perfect. Down, you fool.
So when we reenact Bud Abbott Lucas Sullivan Frankenstein, you can do Bud.
I can do Bud.
Untie the boat.
Yeah,
untie the boat.
I'm not even gonna try. Not even gonna try. Is it true that in the later you go, the more his voice gets gravelly?
Oh yeah.
Like in
definitely.
the early ones,
It's not. It's a little rough.
It's who's on first, and then by the end, it's who's on first.
Yeah. He gets.
Who's the
He
name of
almost
the guy on?
he starts sounding like Lucille Ball towards the end. There. It's sad.
Kim Carnes is where I would have gone, but yeah, Lucille Ball is good.
Ricky. Harvey Firestein is gonna do when they do an animated version. He's playing
There you
Lucy.
go. Perfect.
Is he still around? Has he been canceled or?
Yeah, he's probably been canceled, but I feel like I may have actually even seen him in something in the last
recently.
20 years. It's probably something from 20 years ago.
Okay, all right, yeah, that would sound more like it. Well, he pulls away from Igor and goes back to whatever the hell he was doing.
Okay.
There's a bunch more shots of the lab, the Benson, the monster, Wolf, and Igor. The monster starts shuddering and groaning. His eyes flutter open, which is nice because he finally gets, like I said, Karloff gets to do something.
Yeah, about time.
He does his typical kind of sound.
Yeah, he's doing
glad
that.
to have that back.
It's. I gotta be honest. After doing this for this long, it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of a nice thing. It's Frankenstein.
It's old school.
Fucking Frankenstein's back.
Frankenstein's back in a Frankenstein film.
Yeah.
He opens his eyes and he looks around, kind of disoriented, and we get a POV shot of an out-of-focus Benson.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the POV of the out-of-focus Benson?
It's a cute little bit that comes up. Yeah, because
it's also a comedy bit. It's kind of a comedy minute.
It is.
We've already had one openly
slapstick,
comedic, almost slapstick. Wolf almost knocked the fucking equipment over. That would have been
perfect.
Great watching him stumble around the lab. Yeah, bang.
Then I would agree with you that this film is fucking fantastic.
There's like a gong, and he hits his head on the gong, and then the two guys are carrying a big gigantic pane of glass for some reason.
Like I said, Peter Sellers should have played Wolf.
A bunch of crates full of bananas, and he falls.
Been outstanding.
There's just a bunch of banana peels in one corner.
This would be my favorite film of all time if that stuff happened.
I'm sorry. What I love about it is that it's Wolf, because that would be perfect. You just totally deflate Wolf. My father would be enshrined among the immortal.
Oh, guy! Boing!
There's an actual, I don't know, pogo stick. Whatever.
Oh dear. He opens up a box and a boxing glove on a spring comes out and punches him in the face.
That can happen.
Random
hey, it's part of his equipment.
Yeah.
Come on, you don't know this kind of
Perfect
science.
sense.
What do you know about it?
Yeah, Monster evidently doesn't like looking at Benson out of focus because he waves his hand like the monster waves his hand.
Right. Okay, so we're doing this minute by minute, so what you just said, we could probably do 10 minutes on this. No.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. But I like that because that is the way it seems like he would respond.
Yes.
He doesn't know what he's looking at, and he doesn't like it. He's a baby. He's a that's
like
who
a giant
he is.
toddler, yeah.
He's like a toddler.
He doesn't know what's happening. What the hell is this?
So then he does this, like you said, he waves him off. And he's like, we're doing it with our hands.
It's a typical
you've
Karloff.
seen the movie. Watch the fucking movie.
Watch
if you
the
don't know
guy,
what I'm talking about.
for fuck's sake.
Problem is, then they cut to, when they cut to a long shot after that, you can see there's nothing holding his arm down. His arm is held down at about shoulder height.
Yeah, there's no reason why.
There's no reason why he couldn't have
forearm.
actually punched him.
Yeah, he could reach and
Totally
grab him by the throat and
which
shake
would have
him.
been great.
Shake him like a rag doll.
And then Benson would just start rapidly stabbing him in the face with the scalpel.
See, there's so many ways this could be a better film.
The GW scalpel. And just stabs it into him like 25 times. And goes, I'm like, yeah, that would fucking suck. You know what I mean? It's very visceral.
Yeah.
Like watching someone get killed, oftentimes you're like, especially later in this movie, there's a lot of times you're like, well, that doesn't really affect me. I don't know. I don't have any frame of reference. But somebody taking just a little tiny blade and stabbing maybe you 30 times.
Anytime someone is like stabbed or cut or injected in a film,
injected almost never bothers me.
Oh, really?
Reason. I hate it when it happens to me.
I was going to say, I
can't stand it.
I have to have blood taken all the time.
Yes, me too.
And I can't even watch the needle go in.
I don't watch it. I watched it once
It doesn't the
recently, and I found out it's fine.
The feeling of it, I don't care anymore. I just I'm going to be a little.
I don't like the feeling
because
either.
I have to give myself an injection every other week with some medication to keep the cholesterol down.
Thanks, eggs.
Yeah, well,
I like eggs.
Where the hell
Point is
this
though,
going?
well, here's what I do though. The reason the reason I don't look is I'm afraid I'm going to jump and fuck it up.
Oh.
I don't want to do that. Nobody wants that. So that's why I look away. I'd be okay with looking, and I did once just to see if it would be okay, and I was like, oh, that is okay with me.
Once it's in, it's fine, but just that piercing the skin.
I mean, I don't like any of it.
Yeah, no, it's none of it is. None of it's a walk in
I'd
the
make
park.
a terrible vampire.
Oh, I couldn't. Yeah, I'd have to buy it off the shelf. Then we rack focus a POV shot again.
I'm gonna
monsters. What do you?
I'm sorry.
Should I stop?
I'm sorry. No, I blew it. I was gonna say something, and then I realized I should say it next week.
Okay.
So remind me to say it next week.
Because I'll remember that. Here, wait.
I'll remember. I'll remember.
I'll
Actually, yeah, that would be good.
I'll make you a note.
All right, say it next week. Are we doing it at Belong Dead Studios North again next week?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Got the Basset Hound of the Baskervilles guarding the door there.
Thank you for the notes.
Yeah.
I'm going to post a picture of this on the our Twitter feed. There you go. All right.
And if anyone wants a copy of The Black Sleep on Blu-ray, I, for some reason, have an extra one. So submit an essay in 250 words or less why you deserve a copy of The Black Sleep, and I'll send it to you.
You know what's really fucked up? You offered it to me, and I declined it because I have it, and I kind of want it.
Oh, right.
I kind of want to do an essay because I really love that movie. I have an unnatural. I don't know why I like that movie so much. It's a bad movie.
I enjoy it. No, I enjoy it a lot.
You know what it is? This is the same reason I like this movie. Basil Rathbone is he's a great B movie actor.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he liked to acknowledge that or be known for that.
Yeah.
There's some conjecture that his performance in this is less than it could be because he looked down on the material. So he's kind of vamping it out or camping it up. And
what do you think of that theory, given the way his life turned out?
I think because this is like the first horror kind of thing he did, and then he sort of became known for it, and I don't think he liked that either. So I think there's probably some truth to it. So he's got some contempt for the material.
The problem I have with that is it is absolutely not the thing he is most known for.
Well, he's most known for
second
thing. Okay, he's most known as Sherlock Holmes.
Which is not the same thing.
No, it's not.
It is. There's those B movies too.
But when you clump, here are the great horror actors, he's invariably going to be mentioned.
That's why I kind of wonder how he felt about that. I kind of get the impression that he liked Boris Karloff. Well, yeah, I'm totally willing to concede that I'm looking at the man's life in retrospect, and that in 39 he thought it sucked.
This is ridiculous.
And by the time he got to Black Sleep, he was a different person.
Yes.
That could be.
Yeah, and when he does those Corman films, Comedy of Terrors, he's great.
He is.
And he looks like he's having fun.
Yes, right.
And like you said, I think he enjoyed being with Karloff.
Yes.
Because there are plenty of stills on both.
They seem like they're just best friends.
Both films where they're laughing it up with each other.
Right.
And I'm sure they had some common ground.
Right.
So yeah, I
guess this is where they met, right here. We're talking about
I would imagine. And, then they worked really well together again in Tower of London.
And there are plenty of stills behind the scenes where we see them having a good time on this too.
Yeah.
It really does look like a fun set. That was something
I'm sure
I did.
It was. I'm sure. That's one I would like to talk to Donnie Dunnigan about. Mm-hmm. Was it as much fun as it looks like it was? Because it doesn't always translate to the finished film, but it does look like it was fun to have been there.
It would be nice to talk to Donnie Dunnigan in 1959 about it.
Yeah, because now
I don't know.
A 90-year-old Donnie Dunnigan may not remember.
I do still try to go back to the script to see what I can find in the script that's applicable to our minutes, and I did that this week's
nothing for this
episode. I don't know that there's anything at all for the rest of this movie.
I don't think so.
I don't know if there's a single thing, but there were. It's interesting that in the beginning there were
a few things. Yeah.
And there just seems to be nothing at all.
It just veers so far away from what the original script was.
Yeah, so we're in the... I don't know what you call it. I was starting the sentence as if I knew what I was going to say, because it's a scene that we see in Frankenstein so much. It's the bringing the monster to life scene.
Yeah, the creation scene.
The
is
creation
usually what
scene
they
doesn't
call
really
it.
work
It doesn't
here.
really
but
work. Yeah.
Recreation, which does a total different meaning. And so I thought, well, I'll find something like that in the script. And it's like,
There's
no,
nothing.
doesn't fucking do anything
There's
like that.
nothing.
The monster's just walking around.
The lab, I don't think is it ever even fully
That's a good point.
operational in it.
I don't think so. It's just rubble.
It's rubble
He finds the
throughout the
homunculi and remains
and
of
Pretorius and the
Pretorius
bride.
and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the reason, what you made me think of was, well, they do have a lot of those behind the scenes photos that make it look like it was a great time. They also have the recollections of people like Josephine Hutchinson,
Donnie Dunnigan.
and I think Donnie Dunnigan is in there with, Mank obviously is doing that. And they mention that Donnie was not happy on day one. He thought this was a miserable nightmare, because it is. You can't imagine what that must have been like. And by day two, he was just enthralled and loved it completely. My understanding from reading about it is that it was just a delight. Everybody was just having a blast.
a ball, yeah. And I think that's something I'll give Lee credit for, definitely.
Yeah. It's infectious and it works in the film.
Yeah. There are moments where you can see that come through. Not a lot. But yeah, there are more stills of people throwing cake at the monster and everybody's laughing. And Karloff talks about when he's lying there and he does things for me. And he and Rathbone just busting a gut.
Yeah.
Apparently Lugosi didn't find it all that funny.
Oh, is that right?
I understand, yeah.
That figures.
Yeah. Fucking asshole.
Oh, that fucking dumbass.
Well, I think because most of
Lugosi-
them were British or American, he felt, as always, sort of the outsider.
Yeah, I do
He
sort of
never
get
really
that impression.
joined in on any of the reindeer games.
Yeah, I do get that impression that he thought it was a workplace and he didn't appreciate
the
tea
clown
time
around,
and all that.
Yeah.
But, you never know. Karloff has a birthday, like you said, with the cake. Lugosi brings his kid in.
Well, not 2 birthdays, because Sarah Jane was born that day as well.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. Follow us on...
Where's Karloff? So we were talking about that because... I don't know.
Well, it's the you asked me what I thought of the POV rack focus shot of Benson,
and then
because then Benson holds up the scalpel like he's gonna attack.
He holds it a little. It's not a Jeopardy buzzer when he holds it.
No,
yeah, he's got it. He's got it in the right. Yeah, he's got it in the right way. But it's Benson, so it doesn't look at all intimidating, and it is played as a joke.
It is.
Yeah.
It's played for laughs. It's kind of cute. It's kind of funny. It's kind of dorky. The monster growls. Then it wrecks back out of focus, and he promptly passes out.
So before that, I just realized my notes are a little scattered, so I apologize. I'm going to backtrack just slightly to say you get a close-up of Karloff, a series of close-ups of Karloff, and you can really get a good look at him. He looks great because
it's Karloff. It's Jack Pierce.
It's Jack Pierce. He's the monster. But you can really see that dot. Like that's kind of funny.
Well, yeah. I mean, he took.
Everybody knows about the dot.
He took his bridge back out because he couldn't do that in.
So tell it like you had, like nobody knows what you're talking about.
Well, he had a bridge on the right side of his face. A dental bridge on the right side of his face was 3 or 4 teeth that he volunteered to take out.
Do we know what happened to them teeth? Did they just rot out of his head, or
I don't know.
Did he just smoke so much that his teeth started falling out?
I've never really come across why.
He really wasn't the picture of health. For as much as he was the picture of health, he really wasn't.
Bad
I don't know.
Back, bad lungs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Bow-legged after a while.
Yeah, very.
Arthritic. I think if you watch some of his last few films, like his hands are always
which we did, and our Patreons will have heard. Because we got a lot of feedback.
Yeah, did we? Did anybody watch those?
Nobody's paying attention.
All right. So he offered to take the bridge out for Frankenstein so that his face looked a little more sunken and cadaverish. And Pierce accentuated that with a little bit of shadow in the makeup.
Yeah, it looks fucking brilliant. It's a perfect thing that everyone did in the movie Frankenstein, where you had the gaunt Karloff playing a cadaver that had come to life. The look, maybe go back and listen to season 1. I think we covered this.
If you really want to.
But now, in Bride,
he's gained a little bit of weight, and he had dialogue, so he couldn't take the bridge out and speak properly. So to compensate for that, Pierce put a little shadow in the area where that would have been. Well, at this point now, it's becoming a beauty mark.
It looks like a beauty mark. It really just
because he
looks
could
like
take
a
it.
dot.
I think he did take his teeth out for this.
Yeah, you can see it totally in this shot.
But
He definitely does.
but his face is fuller than it was
Yeah.
8 years ago.
Yep.
So it's not as effective as it was.
It's in no way
And-
effective.
and by the time-
the bridge part, it
Yeah.
might be. It's slightly effective, I guess.
It's a little effective, not as much because
Yeah.
it's fuller. But by Ghost, it's like a beauty mark.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It's what just leave it off.
Yeah, there's no point to it. There's no point to this podcast.
Well, actually, no. This guy doesn't have one. I'm looking at a little
So,
Lon Chaney as Frankenstein.
Belong
toy.
Dead Studios North is a relatively new.
Yes.
It's our newer studio.
Mm-hmm.
we just moved into this studio. What I don't know, a couple months ago.
September. Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, I suppose it would have been. And so yeah, there's all kinds of things around that I don't have or that we don't have. Oh, there you go. Look at this guy over here.
Yeah, there's a
he's
perfect-
really got the
perfect
dental
example of
bridge
it, yeah.
missing part. Yeah, somebody really. It's cool when someone makes a figure that where they actually give a shit.
Yeah, and
about
they
what
put
the
in the
monster
little
actually
details.
looks like instead of making something like what's behind you there, where it's like, well,
This is, yeah.
I like that. Though.
I thought it
I'm
was
just saying.
cool. Yeah, but it's not meant to look like anybody. It's
Yeah,
a
it's
generic.
just it's a generic. Yeah, exactly.
But like, yeah, even on the sideshow toys, that they did all 6 iterations of Frankenstein's
Yeah.
monster, starting Karloff in 31, where he's thin. But Chaney, it looks like I've got a little toy here, and it doesn't. He doesn't have that.
Doesn't have the dot.
No, but
So
he's
there's
got a
been
little
some
mole or
rewriting.
something on the side of his nose that they accentuate.
Oh, that's funny.
Little tiny.
I'd have to look at the movie to see it. Isn't it?
Yeah, I just watched it a while back. This is all
Interesting.
fascinating stuff.
You know, the other thing is he's green a lot of the times.
well,
So much
that-
green.
That's become, when they market it and license it.
Yeah, you will make the monster green.
You will
You
be
are
green, and for
required.
the longest time, you will wear a green jacket, like an army green jacket, and brown pants too. Thankfully, they've stepped away from that a little bit. Now he's in black, like he should be.
I just got a text
Yeah.
from a number I don't know that says SMH.
Do you know what SMH is?
Well, SMH means shaking my head, right?
Yeah, but do you know what they're?
I don't know what they're up to. I don't know who that is or why they would do that.
So just reply back, new phone, who dis?
I'm not doing it because what
Yeah.
if I know them? I don't want to know people.
No,
I don't like to
no,
talk to
I
people or
just
have be
usually
involved
just-
in any way.
Block them and delete it is what I do.
Yeah. So we don't need the dot by this point. One of the things I think is interesting. You're talking about Karloff gaining weight and stuff. It is kind of funny how that has affected the actual role. It almost seems like he showed up on set and the first day, and Roland V. Lee looked at him and was like, "Well, let's make him bigger. Let's make him a big monster."
I think that was a conscious choice from the start.
Yeah.
To bulk him up, to make everything bigger, the sets and all that. And I think the costume choice with the fur vest, which he hated, and a lot of people hate, and I kind of vacillate back and forth. Sometimes I think it looks really cool, and sometimes I think,
I never hate it. I don't really.
I don't hate it. No, I've never hated it. But I know
don't-
some people that just despise it.
I mean,
I think Wallace doesn't like it. Dino doesn't like it.
well, Karloff in the first film is a very specific, iconic figure, and
Right.
it's sort of perfect.
Yeah, that
so
I've
anything
always said is.
strays from that is
Yeah.
going to be controversial.
I've always said that's the gold standard for the Frankenstein monster is Boris
Yeah.
Karloff in 1931.
And by the time you get to 39, somebody is putting jumper cables on his neck, and
It's all over.
It's all over.
And when he moves around and stuff, it looks like screen right. So it's his left electrode
the
is
next thing I was going to
it's gonna
say.
pull right
you can
off.
see the bridge is missing, the dot on the face, and the is very obviously not skin surrounding the electrode
it's a piece
on
of
the
latex,
left side.
I believe. That,
and it's as anybody touches it, or in this case, you've got an actual thing pulling on it. It just it's kind of a bit of a mess.
Supposedly, those left permanent marks on his neck.
Was that right?
Karloff's neck, yeah. Again, what to believe, because there's all these stories. Oh, the costume weighed 380 pounds, and he had a steel brace so he couldn't bend his legs or sit down, and, a cursory viewing of the first fucking scene he's in Frankenstein pretty much gives that the lie.
My
But all these
understanding was that it
studio
was
puff
all
pieces
of that
that went
stuff.
out.
Well, my understanding, including the headpiece with the collodion
No, look what you did.
and all that stuff,
You got me coughing.
and the boots and the brace and all that stuff, in order to suffer through all of that, she had to chain smoke all day just to get
Just
through
to
it.
get through it, evidently, because
It
again,
happens.
I defy you to find an off-camera picture where he doesn't have a cigarette,
When-
either in hand or nearby.
When when James Whale saw Boris Karloff in the canteen in 1931 and a half, or I suppose in June, whenever he saw him.
May, June. Yeah.
He was like a fresh-faced, he was like,
Yeah.
like we talked about, he's a naive, fresh-faced, beautiful,
cockeyed optimist.
slightly exotic-looking, handsome man.
Yeah.
And by the time he was done with that film, he was a broken fucking creature from hell.
Yep.
Follow us on Instagram. He's smoking.
It's literally
Yes,
smoking.
he's smoking.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
smoldering,
interesting
I
to me.
guess, would be the term.
Yeah, maybe.
Smoke coming off like from behind his head, but by
Yeah.
the electrode. This guy,
So
he was going
how are
to
they
burst
doing
into
that
flame.
Exactly?
Like I said, I think the one by his electrode is probably just stuck a cigarette back there and let that.
No, seriously?
Because I
it does look like cigarette smoke. Could be.
I did a.
No, really, I guess it's close to that.
I don't know. I mean, dry ice maybe, but it doesn't move like dry ice. Dry ice
That's
tends
why he's
to.
got the permanent scars, like you said. Because sticking dry ice on a guy's neck,
Yeah, that's
going to
burn you. No, because
it'll make a guy go. "Argh."
Definitely.
Yeah, that happens.
The smoke drifts upward, and dry ice tends to kind of fall to the ground. So I don't think it's dry ice. I think it's a cigarette. That'd be the easiest way to do it.
Okay.
Have them light one up before we call action. Just shove it back there, and okay, go quick before.
And Boris's game. Boris, would it be okay if you smoked? Could you please light a cigarette for us?
No, I think
for the sake of the film.
More often it was like, Boris, would you put the cigarette out
Yeah, more like-
for the sake of the film?
Yeah, true. And so we were watching this, and at this point, when he kind of passes back out again, like you said, and then you see the smoke coming out of him, this one Jackie said, burnt him out. I was like, yeah, he kind of, it kind of does seem that. You get that impression, like you jacked him full of electricity, and well.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do they know when to turn everything off? Because Henry seems to instinctively know both times. Mm-hmm. Bring her down. Yep. We're good.
Well, he's monitoring on that piece of, I don't know.
But Wolf's all new to this. As far as I know, he's not kept a human heart beating for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
He didn't experiment on dead animals.
Yep.
Any of that.
Well, like we said the other week, it appears that he may have seen the movie Frankenstein.
He may have seen that.
That'll help.
Wolf charges over to the levers and turns off the charges. He
goes to the knife switch. What'd you call it?
It's a knife switch.
Knife switch, yeah. People will know what we're talking about, right? There's a switch.
It's like a big toggle thing, yeah.
It's a toggle.
Mounted on the wall, and it's you flip it up or down, and when it completes the circuit, basically.
Yes, like every switch.
Like every switch does, yeah.
My 1991 degree in electronics just came in really handy there.
Yes, see?
So that's what a switch is. It completes the circuit, and then when you want to turn it off, you open the circuit.
There you go. You not only learn about these Frankenstein films, but everyday life. You get tips.
I think it just shows the kind of research we put into this. I
you
didn't
went
want to go to school for electronics, but it was important to study for the podcast.
Well worth your time, and I didn't spend all my time sculpting and stuff like that for the hell of it. It was just for this. I can tell you what that is on Karloff's face.
How much did you spend on collodion?
Oh, Jesus. Collodion bills from the 90s were through the roof.
Collodion are us. You still got
a revolving.
Yeah, your credit is fucked because they're still following you.
So I keep moving, hoping they'll lose me.
Lang. Yeah, I remember. All right, so then what does Wolf do?
Wolf goes over to the monster, puts on a stethoscope, and listens to his ear.
Is it his ear?
I don't know what he's doing.
Okay, so I asked because I knew this was going to come up. There's no way you can avoid what the fuck is he doing. Okay, good. He puts a. I was going to say he puts it maybe just on the side of his head, but you're right. It could be on his ear.
It looks like the placement. We see it's his up camera side of Boris's head, so we don't see what he's doing. But where his hand goes and stuff, it sure looks to me like he's putting the stethoscope on the monster's ear.
I think it's just on his head.
Maybe his temple.
On his temple, like on the side. But either way, here's the thing. What did What did the people who made the movie think he was doing? Did they think he was listening to his head? Like that's how you tell
Like
if someone's
if
alive?
someone's in a coma or not.
Like
No,
no,
his head's,
fuck
his
the
head's
mirror,
working.
Fuck putting a mirror on somebody's, see if they're breathing.
Well-
let's listen to his head. I mean, like if you listen hard enough, can you hear
You
like
hear the brain functions going.
Yeah, like I don't know.
higher-
What would the monster think? I don't know.
Wish I had a cigarette.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's probably exactly right.
Well, and Wolf knows he was alive already.
Alive.
Well, because down in the crypt, he holds his hand, and I'm sure he feels the pulse, and
Sure, right, yeah.
so he knows that this thing is alive.
Yep.
So I don't know what listening to his head would accomplish.
Yep.
You're right. What the hell were they thinking? This was?
It's the first and, well, I guess we'll see next week, but it's the first and only thing he does to determine
Whether this was
success.
a success or not.
I'm
I
gonna
guess
listen to his head.
we'll find out what the head said next week.
You think you're so smart. You do it like what he's doing. Maybe that's not a stethoscope. Maybe it's a complicated thing that Henry invented that is actually measuring superviolet cosmic rays.
It's a stethoscope.
It looks like a stethoscope.
It's a stethoscope.
Make sure that you join us on the Frankenstein Minute Village on Facebook if you're so inclined.
Lots of stuff posted there.
I post some stuff there sometimes, and
2 or 3 people like it, and it's
and then you move on with your life.
Yeah, I like the one you posted about what kind of a mashup would you like to see.
Well, that was me saying that, but if you actually read that article, it's not a bad article. Actually.
Oh, I didn't read it.
Didn't bother me.
Usually I don't bother because they're not going to tell me something I don't know.
No, that's true. Well, the article was something like, what do they need to do to reboot the Universal
make this
Monster
work.
series? And I actually agree with what they're saying.
What do they say?
And one of them is obvious and will not happen. Well, I shouldn't say it will not happen. It just seems very unlikely to happen, which is that they should be horror movies.
Yeah, that would be a great way to start.
It just seems obvious.
Yeah, that would be.
But it seems highly doubtful that could ever happen.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah. Maybe someday. I mean, they are making The Invisible Man with, I haven't seen it, but did you see The Invisible Man with Elizabeth, what's her name?
I didn't.
People liked that one.
People
That
liked
seemed like
it,
was a horror movie.
yeah, there's a man in it, and apparently he's invisible.
Well, I mean, do whatever.
But there's nothing to do with Wells or...
okay.
And that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
it's
cool.
cool.
That's cool.
Yep.
But yeah, if
But they
make
made all
one
those-
more
they made those
fucking
mummy
shitty
movies.
movie, if they make another shitty mummy movie, I'm done.
But those mummy movies were very popular. Brendan
Fraser?
Fraser is famous because he made those mummy movies.
Yes,
I
that's
think.
true, and I'm sure they're enjoyable, but that's not
The
what
Rock. I believe there's a rock in them.
Yeah, there's a rock somewhere, and they're not what I wanted from a mummy movie. I wanted a horror movie with a mummy in it,
don't do that anymore.
not a cheap Indiana Jones knockoff
Yeah.
with bad CGI effects.
Even the last Star Wars movie was a Indiana Jones movie.
pretty much.
They went to different locations to collect things,
Yeah,
to
pretty
like little
much.
secrets, and they went to a desert and they fell in a hole, and it was like, what?
Well, man, that's
what
how
is
that's how
this?
they got Harrison Ford to do his little cameo. It's like it'll be like an Indiana Jones.
Yeah, you'll love this. It's
Yeah,
Indiana
'cause he
Jones.
fucking hates Star Wars and would do Indiana Jones. To
So
the day
bizarre
he
that
died.
Harrison Ford looks back on his life, his career, and says, "Boy, I fucking hate Star Wars, but I love Indiana Jones." It's like, okay,
yeah.
I guess it's fine with me, but
Yeah, it's a weird.
how is that so different? I don't really get the big difference,
Yeah,
except
I
that
don't
Indiana Jones. Well, I guess he's a good guy.
He's a good guy. He propels the story, whereas Han Solo often doesn't, and sometimes
That's true.
is to the detriment of the story by being such an obstinate.
Yeah,
I personally like Han Solo better, but
yeah, exactly. That's what I think is so strange about
yeah.
it. It's like the
I
best thing
fucking
about
love
this original.
yeah, I love Han Solo.
The best thing about Star Wars might be Han Solo.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look at my house.
That's right. Look at my house, the man said. Yeah, he's probably the best thing about Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I'm cutting all this out.
Facebook Minute Village, or Frankenstein Minute Village on Facebook. Facebook Minute. We're doing Facebook Minute. Oh, man.
Just kill me now.